going out looking for something to get excited about.
Well, maybe that's not completely true. The Streets Ahead Performance Cafe has spearheaded a new, exciting type of live music venue.
The cafe seemed to be the most open venue possible because, unlicensed, the law doesn't bother you about things unless you're breaking the law, as opposed to having to stay within a strict format. We have blues, jazz, rock, comedy, performance-orientated, which means that you walk on stage and do something. And the stage is small and the cafe is small, so there's a tendency for the stage and the audience to get mixed up. Like on Thursday night, we had a group called the Lifeboats performing, and they actually walked off stage and pulled the audience on stage. They set up a drum machine rhythm section, synthesized bass, told people what chords to play on guitars, mic'd up a couple of bongo drums, and the band was playing Space Invaders in the back room while the customers were playing music on stage. Things like that happen often. We've stimulated the performance art at street level a bit, I'm sure of it. What's happened is a lot of people have performed here, find they've got performance energy and something that they want to do again. So they're going to other cafe owners and saying, well, it works at the performance, it'll work here, you know.
We've been hearing that people really don't want to see live entertainment. They prefer to just go to a disco and hear pre-recorded stuff.
Well, yeah, I don't have an audience here unless I have performance. People don't come here to listen to my record collection. You know, they don't come here to watch the Space Invaders machines. You know, people come here to see live performance. And as you saw last night, you know, when the band's cooking, then the people are here to watch it.
There's a shrinking, just people have got less to spend. People are, definitely there's a trend with drinking, driving, and law enforcement too.
There's two pubs basically that are playing, well, they have live bands regularly. Whereas before, 3 years ago, there might have been, you know, 4 or 5 pubs maybe.
I mean, I know it's a corny bullshit sort of thing, but a little bit of pizzazz and a little bit of production and a little bit of a show, I think is what people are looking for.
They're basically just playing good music. It's just that the teenagers are the only ones perceptive enough to pick it up.
We did a gig at Main Street a few weeks ago. We got 700 people along on Sunday afternoon, you know, so that sort of proves that there people are out there and they will go if this is something they want to see.
What was the gig?
It was four Dunedin bands.
There's a lack of imagination when it comes to putting on shows in pubs. I think people want a bit more than some band ambling up on the stage.
Tell us about the man with the train toaster.
Well, that happened the week before last on one of our comedy evenings. He's a comedian from West Auckland, from the Henderson Valley, I think, and he brought in a toaster one night and showed us the tricks he'd developed with his toaster. It rolled over, played dead, did all those things, and eventually he had it flying around his head and eventually against the wall. And it stayed there, actually. I didn't find it until the next morning in behind the piano, and a very powerful piece. We've also had synchronized rugby, which was a very good comedy performance. It was sort of a takeoff of synchronized swimming and things at the Olympics, the new New Zealand sport for the sort of obese but sensitive rugby player.
Well, OK, welcome to the new look Wellington. Since Sir Michael Fowler, you can see they've put up a whole new town hall. They've added thousands of shopping centres. There's pubs around the place now, restaurants. So Wellington's all dressed up. Let's see if there's somewhere to go. Yeah, it's all a bit embarrassing, actually, for Wellington music. I see that the only things on this weekend seem to be the Top Twins, who are a women's group from Auckland, and there's the Freudian Slips. They're a feminist all-women band also from Auckland, supported by Auckland's Red Beryl. And if you're not interested in that, well, there is Wayne Gillespie. He's singer-songwriter, but he's also from Auckland too, so it's not much good to us either. However, all is not completely lost. I see that Wellington's Pelicans are playing up at the Pulse, so let's check that up at the Clyde Quay.
I was a newspaper seller and a soldier jerk, a dishwasher and a grease monkey. The recession hit it, put me out of work. I had to sell my car to pay the rent.
Well, the pub venues may be closing in Auckland, but in Wellington the opposite seems to have happened. 2 years ago there were no pubs featuring original music. Now there are 3. You've been running this place now for 2 years. I mean, that must be a bit of a record actually for a gig in Wellington. What's the secret to success?
Hard work and the support of a lot of people.
You seem to be doing this place up now, basically.
Yeah, that way we'd get 90, 100 more people into the room.
So obviously you've got a bit of confidence in the fact that Wellington can sustain 3 gigs, I suppose.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, gives the town more variety, that's for sure.
You've started up the most recently. How did the Pulse start?
Well, it started out as a different idea in entertainment, totally different from anything that's been in Wellington before.
We seem to be drawing on different areas for different things. I tend to deal with a lot of older musicians.
A lot of the people that come to the Terminus would be people that couldn't get into the cricketers because their dress isn't good enough. You know, they might have a jean jacket on or be a bit scruffy.
We're not competing with them directly, we're offering something alternative to them. So they will always have their stronghold in Wellington. And that's a good thing, it's a healthy thing.
We use a variety of artists in here, from jazz to blues to Irish rebel music.
We've had everything from the Skeptics to Peter Tate, performance poet, the Chills, you know, Flying Nun bands.
There's all sorts of bands, from heavy metal to new wave bands, pop bands, rock and roll bands.
We just want people to come along and have a good time, and there's something there for them to go to instead of sitting home and, you know, watching TV.
Oh, good idea too. Great plug for our program.
I would say it was healthier than it was, in that we have venues all of a sudden, and there's quite a bit of activity for the first time. But I mean, 3 months ago, it was a different story altogether. At the same time, I would say that there was somewhat of a tightrope act going on, in that nothing is assured. 3 months into the future, and there may be no venues once again.
So it's still pretty volatile.
Very, yeah.
When I can, I use Wellington bands. My attitude is that they have to prove themselves firstly, and how I give them the opportunity to do that is to get them in to do supports for some of the big bands, like Coconut Rough or the Jive Bombers or something like that, and it gives them stage confidence.
Well, the pubs are great places to get your stage act together, but a lot of Wellington's most interesting bands couldn't care less about their stage act. They want to be listened to, and so they try and avoid playing in pubs.
I think that young people are frustrated at times because they can't hear the music that they'd like to.
Do you think that the pub as the main place for a band to play, do you think that's going to continue for a while in Wellington?
Definitely. There aren't a lot of venues in Wellington. I've looked for venues outside of the pub to do other things and found it difficult. There are a few clubs in Wellington, but some of them are concentrating on disco rather than live music.
Discos, they sound like fun. Let's go and have a look. Hey guys, what do you think about Claire?
Oh, choice!
Yes, well, we all know what discos look like, don't we? Let's flag it away.